What's up, everybody? We are a couple minutes late. Apologies about that. About to braise some delicious chuck roast. Change the UI on me. Here's what we're starting with. About 3 pounds right here. Got some potatoes, got some onions, olive oil, salt, pepper, red wine, bone broth. About to hand the camera off to far-right Latina girlfriend who had some great ideas about corrupt prosecutors that we're going to talk through today. Wow. We cook. So, I'm a fairly cynical person. It doesn't mean I'm always negative, but I am fairly cynical. I always assume, in many cases, the worst intentions in a lot of situations. And I have to say that my girlfriend's assumptions are even more cynical than mine in a couple different recent cases. And as I think further about it, I think she's probably right. About so number one, about Claudine Gay, when she was getting in hot water about the plagiarism. My girlfriend was convinced that she didn't just plagiarize one paper or 10 papers or 50 papers, that she actually plagiarized 100% of her papers. That she was not capable. She was not only not capable of thinking plagiarism was wrong, but not actually capable of generating an original thought herself. And so it wasn't that this person is a mediocre intellect who cheated once or twice. It was actually this person's a total moron whose career would have been completely non-existent were she not able to pass off other people's thoughts as her own. And we have another DEI hire in all likelihood. I haven't exactly looked into how Fannie Willis came to represent, I'm not sure if it's Fulton County or just the state of Georgia, prosecuting potential criminals like our commander-in-chief, Donald Trump. But somehow she became a prosecutor, carrying thousands of dollars of cash around her house, belittling people for cross-examining her. And, if any of you guys have watched that clip, I think from yesterday, it would be very apparent that she's a fucking idiot. And so we're gonna put the oil in the Dutch oven. Turn that bad boy to high while we salt the rest of the chuck roast. And we're going to also bake 285. That's probably gonna get ready before this is ready, but that's okay. We'll do multiple steps at once. So she's very stupid. If you guys know any lawyers who went to legitimate law schools, and Joe Biden did not go to a legitimate law school, nor do you probably know him, but a lot of people in government are lawyers, have law backgrounds, and a lot of them are very stupid. And if you actually know any competent lawyers within your social circle, you'll know that these lawyers are very careful about what they say and how they say it. And one thing about Fannie Willis's testimony yesterday is she was not careful at all about what she said nor how she said it.
Yeah, she should have pleaded the fifth.
Yeah, my girlfriend says she should have pled the fifth, which is what most people do, as advised by their lawyers. Or if they don't plead the fifth, then they give very legalistic answers and do not self-incriminate. And that's not what Fannie Willis did. She actually admitted to stealing money from her own campaign, or at the very minimum, borrowing it without interest and not repaying it yet. And she did it when answering a question. It wasn't even about that, right? So she ended up, coughing up information about how she's a corrupt criminal, and the way that she did it was so obscene to me, because it was basically an attempt to belittle the, I guess it was the prosecutor who was cross-examining her, or whoever was interrogating her. She was trying to punk him. She was trying to intimidate him using all of this, DEI nomenclature. Oh, well, that's what a woman has to do. Oh, no, I won't emasculate a black man. Like, making all these allusions to situations that don't exist, because she lives in a world where you can rely on references to membership of certain groups, and people just kind of back away and they don't dig deeper. That is her fastball. That's her 95-mile-per-hour fastball. So we're going to start cutting up an onion as well. All right, that oil is hot. So we're going to stick that on. We're going to turn the fan on, low. That's perfect size. That's great. Let's shake this a little bit. Okay. So she was used to just basically bulldozing her way through people questioning her, leaning on being a woman, leaning on being a black woman, leaning on being black, and all of it, as we're coming to find out, is just because she's stupid. And one thing that my girlfriend said that I didn't even think about is that there's no way that she passed the bar. Now, I know that different states have different bars or different degrees of difficulty, and I know that people cheat. I just hadn't assumed that she paid somebody to take the bar for her. But, you know, if you think about it, probably isn't that hard, especially before biometric data was required for taking a lot of these tests. Probably wouldn't have been hard at all. If you were able to get a fake ID and have somebody show up with their picture on an ID, you know, last I remember in high school, people would make fake IDs for a couple $100. So if you can make a fake ID for a couple $100 and pay somebody who's a lawyer, pay them $1,000 or something, to take the bar for you, then you don't have to pass the bar, and you can become a licensed attorney, provided that you have the other prerequisites, which I believe would be going to law school. And so that's very likely what happened with her. Now, do we know this? No. We're only assuming that this is the case because of how utterly stupid this woman is revealing herself to be, and utterly corrupt. You know, using taxpayer money. I mean, it's basically like if you had Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist from the Chappelle Show, if you had him write a story about what it would be like to have a minority DA prosecuting the President of the United States, like that's exactly what he would write. Like you can't fit more stereotypes into this this story than what reality has fit into the story. And there's a very good chance that the only reason you can fit that many stereotypes in the story is because some degree of shenanigans was going on, not just since this person was elected to be a prosecutor, but before that entirely, before her legal career entirely. You can tell this woman is on a power trip. And frankly, you know, these people are going to pervade our legal system. They already exist. If we can't keep them out of law school, and we can't keep them out of college, and we can't keep them from passing the bar, then they're going to become judges. They already are. And so
she was a judge. I think she was a judge before she was the DA.
Yeah, she was a judge beforehand. So everybody knows prosecutors are corrupt. They kind of lie, make things up, whatever. Yeah, she was a judge beforehand. That doesn't surprise me. Why does she have all the cash in her house? My guess is because she was doing something illegal to get the cash. So as our society moves away from competency, nobody's going to call her out for this too, because you can't call out a black woman for your suspicion that she cheated just because she's a fucking retard.
No, all of the black women say she did wonderful yesterday.
Yeah.
Like all these op-eds and stuff in
really?
newspapers,
So that's
yeah.
fake. If all the op-eds are saying that she did wonderfully, it's actually...
Well, they're written by black women too.
Yeah, but it's also fake. It's because they realize, like, that's exactly how the left lies, is they realize, like, we can't just say that she did okay. We actually have to say the opposite of what's true and hammer that. it's like, it's a lowball strategy, right? Where we're gonna say the opposite of what's true and hope the reader adopts an opinion that's somewhere in the middle of what we're saying and reality. Okay, that probably could have had a little bit more time right there, but no big deal. We'll still get a little bit more time there when it's over. And we're gonna cut this other onion.
Yeah, I didn't catch this yesterday, but when she was saying that she wasn't going to emasculate a black man on the stand, she talked about how he had erectile dysfunction.
Did somebody say that, or you said
No, I'm saying that.
she talked about how he had erectile dysfunction?
Yes.
Why? What did she hope to gain from mentioning that?
I have no idea.
So they probably used taxpayer dollars to get his Viagra, too. Yeah, all of this is like beyond parody, but it's real life. And I don't know what to say about it.
And then she was wearing her dress on backwards.
She was wearing her dress backwards?
Yes.
Yeah, because she's retarded. Like, she's very stupid. So, I don't know why that would surprise anybody. That she couldn't put her dress on straight. Like, well, what has she done right in her career? Like, all she knows how to do is bully and intimidate people. Apparently quite effectively. But that's it. My eyes are watering up. This story makes me so sad for our country and for our justice system. Got my eyes. Or it's the onions, one of the two. So my eyes are watering up.
Looks good.
All right, so one thing about the bone broth is very gelatinous, but you need to heat it up just a little bit, which is why I'm keeping it by, because it's been in the refrigerator for a couple days. So we're keeping it by the heat to heat it up. We already washed the potatoes, cut the eyes out of the potatoes. Those eyes are going very quickly, by the way. Sorry, 1, 2, we can eat this right now. I'm not going to braise this week. We can eat it.
How do you know when it's ready to flip?
What's that?
How do you know when it's ready to flip?
This is hard because
Yeah.
it's too thick for the water to come through the way it normally would. We just need to wait like 5 minutes. It probably takes about 6 minutes inside to get this thing seared. And then you can see this area missed a little bit of the sear, so we're going to hit that again on the other side. It's going to be a good one. This is going to be good. Well, if anybody has questions about corrupt prosecutors or DEI influence, we can talk through that. We can also talk through a recent post that I just made. So I was on a phone call during my massage that I get every Friday before this, talking to another trainer who's interested in doing what I've done and breaking into executive coaching. And I was giving her advice, and my masseuse, who actually runs her own business too, was like, man, I should have paid for that call. I should have paid to be on that call. That was really good. I didn't even realize that what I was telling him would have been, that significant. But, what it came down to for my masseuse is she's very good at helping people solve their problems. But as a masseuse, if you're really good at what you do, you can't charge them $10,000 an hour, right? So if you have somebody who can't walk and you can help them walk again, that's worth more than a car, right? But you can't say, oh, I'll charge you $40,000 for that. They all bill by the hour. And so this is a common problem in industries where people bill by the hour rather than by the outcome, is if you're highly competent, you can't get paid for good outcomes. And so, I was basically All right, see, that's pretty good. Let that go. I was basically telling her that if she understands which problems she can solve ahead of time, then those are the problems that she needs to solve. And if she can bill people up front, or say, like, this is going to be X thousand dollars, I'll only charge you, well, when we accomplish it, or you can pay installations as the progress becomes obvious that we're on the right path. Because she's talking about helping people like move who haven't been able to move in years in one session. It's like, yeah, so you get paid more than a couple $100 for that. A lot of industries work like this. Lawyers frequently work like that unless they're working in contingency. And so the more you can get paid contingent upon your success, whether it's through equity, whether it's through some degree of a guarantee of an end outcome, the more likely you are to get paid what you're actually contributing to your client if you're good. If you're bad, you don't all money up. All right, that looks good to me. Now we're going to flip it to this side. And as we flip it to this side, we're going to start throwing the onions on. They say to do this separate, but like, no, we're trying to save time. We're busy.
And it still tastes good.
Tasted amazing last time. I think the reason that people say to do it separately is people are just not competent in managing the onion saute along with the sear of the beef. And it probably does make it a little bit more challenging to get a good sear. When you crowd the pan, that is something that happens. One thing that I'll want to do, I forgot to get the rosemary in time, so I'm going to go get that right now. I'm wearing my Vanderbilt shirt. It's funny because my buddy Zach Hummel texted me earlier today. I asked him how much he weighed, because he looks very thin compared to what he's looked like these last few years. And he said he weighs 183 to 185, which is like what I've mostly weighed for the last couple of years. I weigh like 193 right now. I was 195 earlier this week. And that's just where I'm sitting at, right? And so that's closer to where he would sit at. And I'm joking with him, like he's looking closer to the way I looked when I met him, and I'm looking closer to the way that he looked when he met me. And I said, we should just trade wardrobes. And he's like, bro, you just have like 2 Vanderbilt shirts and a pair of shorts. Like, I'm not trading you wardrobes. And I said, yes, but they are Alex Fiber Vanderbilt shirts. So I'll let you guys know the progress of this attempted trade. He's getting I'm getting the short end of the stick on it, obviously. And this is probably worth. I bet I could sell this shirt. I bet somebody on Twitter is paying $100 for this shirt. Not gonna lie. If you pay me $100 for this shirt, I'll throw in an autographed baseball card for an extra $25. I will give you a Vanderbilt Under Armour practice shirt. This is what we practice in. And I will give you an autographed baseball card for $125. This offer is only good today, filming day, February 16, 2024. I know as my popularity grows, this will be worth much more than $125. But if you want to get on it today, you can get on it for $125. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. We're probably not going to get this portion seared just because if you look, this is elevated relative to that. So no matter how long we leave it on, that spot's it's gonna be missing. It's gonna be missing surface area, unfortunately. And you know, that happens. Searing's mostly for taste. I don't really believe much about, oh, we're locking the juices in, because the whole thing's cooking in its juices. So the soup that it comes in is like the tastiest thing ever. And it's going to marinate in that for 3 hours while we're putting it in the oven. I'm not worried about that at all. All right, we got, I think, 3 more sides to sear. And then while we are on the topic of dumb people, a couple states have put out laws making the death penalty punishment for pedophilia. I think Idaho did it, or is in the process of doing it.
Florida did it.
Florida did it already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is interesting because what it's actually going to do is it's going to force Democrats to show their hands because, you know, I don't know, is like, I'm a classical liberal. I don't think most classical liberals would support the death penalty for pedophiles. Maybe they would. I don't know. Would they?
I would.
I don't think they would. But, you know, you have to think, like, can that behavior be reformed? Very likely it cannot.
No.
And so, you know, one of the things that, all right, we got that side here. We're going to give more on both sides, and then we're going to hit these two sides, and we're good. You know, one of the things that our society does very well, to its fault, is gives people second chances and third chances. Unfortunately, if you're old enough, you realize, like, most people don't deserve second chances and third chances. Because if they fuck up once, they're going to fuck up the second time and the third time. It's actually something deep within the way that they're wired that leads to them doing the same bad things over and over and over again. And so, as much as we want to be a forgiving society and a society that gives people second chances, statistically speaking, most people don't do anything positive with second chances, and they should just be kept in jail forever. I hate that it's like that, but that is what I see, and correct me if I'm wrong. All right.
The pedophile thing is a direct assault on the gay pipeline.
YouTube might take us off for talking about that. A very good point that my far-right Latina girlfriend made. I don't know if I can repeat it, but maybe we'll host something on like Rumble or something like that, where we talk about what she said about the gay pipeline and pedophiles and the disruption of that pipeline with this new legislation. You guys would probably tune in more if she was like sitting right next to me. You just had somebody else film it who would just interject about all the things that she thinks.
Be careful about scraping the metal on the bottom.
Oh, we're not supposed to scrape the metal? Didn't know that. Didn't know that. Thought everything was like the hex bar.
Nope.
Alright, well, I guess we'll use a wooden spoon. Don't like how this fell. We're going to do it like this just to get this side a little bit more coverage. And then I actually figured out a way to get this middle portion some coverage. And we're going to just use the onions to even it out. So now we got one side on the pan. I'm going to eat that. That's going to be kind of chewy, but I still want to eat it. Oops, not supposed to do that. All right, so we're going to let this hang for about 1 minute, then we're going to put it on the back side. Then we'll put all the liquids in, pop it off. Very chewy. That's why you need to smoke with that. Like even though this is a small piece, careful to the plate. I did.
How big is this? 3 pounds?
3 pounds.
Oh, you got a comment. Love the sizzling sound. It's great what you can do with a simple chuck roast.
That's right. Who's that comment coming from?
From Galen Wolfman.
That's right, Galen. You are correct. All right, we're almost done actually.
The onions are looking good too. So the onions are looking good too.
Onions are looking good. All right, so we have basically done it. What we're gonna do now is make sure that the onions are in the center. I'm gonna lay this on top. Put this over here. Now we are going to put the thyme, open the thyme, open the rosemary. I'm going to pour this bone broth on the side. A little bit of a dam opening up, so we want it to actually evenly spread around. That's what we have going on right now. We're going to want to liberally add some lime. About a cup of lime. Last time we couldn't taste the lime, I thought a little bit more. And a little bit less bone broth to work with this time than the last time. Nothing crazy. Oops, not supposed to be doing that. Spread this around. Get even color distribution all around. Wonderful. Now we're going to put the quarter onions in. And I'll throw the rosemary and thyme on. Okay, here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to put the lid on. It is 1:40 Central Time. This will be done in about 3 hours, so it's going to be done about 4:40 Central Time. What we're going to do is at about 3:25 Central Time, about an hour and 45 minutes, we're going to add, we're going to flip the beef and add the potatoes. Thank you for tuning in on this Friday's live stream lunch. We'll show you how everything tastes when we take it out in a few hours. As you know, Chef Alex doesn't miss.